Let's hear from both sides of the aisle here. Going head-to-head, Sinclair Political Commentator Ameshia Cross and member of the President's National Security Education Board, host of America First on Salem Radio and Sinclair Media contributor, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Let's start with the topic du jour, you guys. Federal troops going into Portland, maybe going to Chicago, and possibly going into New York. I'm going to start with you, Ameshia, because ladies first, my Chicago compadre here. Why shouldn't President Trump send federal troops into these cities when they're basically devolving into mayhem?
First of all, I don't think that the cities are devolving into mayhem. That is a talking point that we've seen across conservative networks and conservative media for days now. I know people on the ground in Portland. There are moms who are literally being gassed, who are standing outside holding signs.
Wait, Ameshia, my good friend, doesn't that sound like mayhem? Doesn't that sound like moms who are putting the barrier between police and protesters and being gassed? And, you know, we've seen all the pictures of the violence. Doesn't that sound like mayhem to you?
Mayhem that was created by federal intervention. The act from the White House is that there was mayhem on the ground, and that's why they came in.
How did the federal intervention cause the mayhem? I mean, I'm going to get to Sebastian. I want to get to Sebastian and let him answer, but I'll let you do this. Ameshia, just tell us, how's it the Fed's fault?
It's the Fed's fault because what we see from the Trump administration is an extreme, egregious, and authoritarian regime type motive when it comes to trying to quell protests. Protests are a fundamental right given to us by our democracy, by our Constitution, and we have a president who doesn't agree with why people are in the streets protesting, and hence is using this force of his that is not even labeled to actually go into communities and cause their own level of destruction.
I think you're mixing a couple of these issues up. I mean, the original protests were based on defunding police and Black Lives Matter and Antifa getting involved. Now you're talking about people being upset that the feds are coming in. Sebastian, take us through what are we, I don't know, help us out here, my friend.
I don't think I can help Ameshia. I think she's trying to gaslight your viewers, Eric. I mean, this is propaganda. Sorry, Donald Trump's federal forces caused the chaos? Really? Who shot Officer Underwood in California? Who shot the retired police captain, 77 years old, who was trying to stop looting? Was it an officer of DHS? No, the insanity has to stop. When Chicago, Ameshia, has 100 people shot over the weekend. 100 people shot and 12 murdered. A 1-year-old black child is shot to death in his stroller in New York. And you want to blame Donald Trump? That's just despicable. I'm sorry. This insanity has to end. And the people who are in greatest danger are the poor, black, inner-city community members who need to be protected, who have been betrayed by local Democrat leaders. Betrayed. Ameshia, it's my turn now. Ameshia. It's my turn to respond. It's my turn to respond, Ameshia. Okay?
Guys, Sebastian, finish the thought, and I'll let you to rebut, Ameshia.
Every place that sees rampant violent crime in America is run by Democrats and has been run by Democrats for decades, sometimes generations. The insanity has to stop. And when local authorities refuse to keep Americans safe, there's only one option left, and that's for the incumbent president to help. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Okay, go ahead, Ameshia.
There is an anger and outrage that I get when I hear a white man who has never walked in the shoes of a poor black child, who has never been poor and black, who's not come from the black community, sit here and try to tell me about how black people should respond and what black people are feeling.
Ameshia,
I'm sorry. That is
I never said that. You're being a racist.
Guys.
Yes, it is. You're speaking on behalf of black people and for black people. I'm from the south side of Chicago, not the suburbs, the south side. So please don't try to patronize me.
Eric, here, born and raised in Chicago, poor, wrong side of the tracks, never had a dime, couldn't afford sneakers. Please don't say that I didn't walk in some pretty hellish shoes growing up in the same city you did, maybe at a lower level than even you did. So I think I can weigh in on some of these things. It pains me to watch every weekend the totals of people being shot and killed. And by the way, this has been going on for years. It's not just since Donald Trump has decided that he wants to bring troops into Chicago, Portland, in New York. So please rebut, but let's be honest here. Let's be real here for a minute. Go ahead, Ameshia.
My realness here is this. We also know what the causes of the violence are, and sending in federal troops does not decrease that. It does not increase the unemployment rate. Chicago has the largest Black male unemployment rate in the country. It does not bring back the mental health clinics that have been shut down. It does not help with the students who are 80% of them are homeless going to Chicago public schools. So again, there are several issues associated with what we're seeing happen in the city of Chicago that have existed for decades. And sending in federal troops, which Donald Trump has argued for years, even before he had the power to do so, is problematic because it does not get to the core issues of why we're seeing violence occur and have seen it since the 80s.
Sorry, Sebastian, quick thought, the final thought, about 15, 20 seconds, if you don't mind.
I refuse to use Ameshia's skin color against her like she did with me. I'm not a bigot, I'm not a racist, and I don't approve of cancel culture. What she just did is cancel culture. I'm an American. I have First Amendment rights. Chicago is a disaster. She knows why it is, and it has nothing to do with President Trump.
All right, go and leave it right there. Always heated debate with these two, Ameshia Cross, Sebastian Gorka. Thank you, guys.